everyone, it's Monday. Not a very fun day, but not a very sad one. I don't really have much info to share with you today because today was basically memorizing, and it's also so hard to wake up in the morning for me. You don't understand how hard it is. And I know there are people in my class who wake up at 5:30 because they live like 2 hours away from the school, so I'm like, oh, I cannot complain about this because I live really near to the train station. So today we had an anatomy class where we learned all about the bones, neurocranium, cranial vault. I don't like sphenoid bone because it has so much stuff to learn about it, and for some reason our instructor told us that our osce will be mostly about occipital bone, but there aren't many parts in the bone that we could be able to identify, so I don't know why they're saying that that's the main part. My computer died on me on the second part of the day because we had dental hygiene care where we talked about medical history, dental history. This is one of the hardest classes for me, not even memorizing part, but because it's critical thinking subject. There aren't specific answers. You just have to explain yourself well and think outside of the box, you know? I forgot to turn on the blurring mode behind me. Not that it helps anyway. This week is about to be interesting because within this week our class has to select a class president, 2 academic representatives, and I'm not sure how this is gonna go because we have 4 people who are trying out, including me. Even if it doesn't work out for me, it's also a good experience to have and know that I tried. And nobody knows what will happen if I don't try myself out. I bought a second pair of scrubs and I decided to go with the blue one because this was the only one left in my size, but it fits me perfect. I'll put a picture here somewhere, but don't judge the picture by its cover because it's very comfortable, and I was really tired back then and I look very tired right now too. But so these are the pants. They have like pockets on the sides, pretty comfortable. And I bought this t-shirt. It goes like this. I picked it because it also has some pockets on it. It was under $40, maybe just a little bit over $40, and I had to buy clinical shoes. If you remember in my last video I showed you my shoes, however they were made out of canvas, so I'm not allowed canvas in the clinic, so I had to buy new ones and return those ones. These are the ones that I got. They don't look very beautiful, but only gonna wear them in the clinic. So very skid resistant and it's wipeable and it's very comfortable. I was willing to pay any amount of money for these shoes because here is like very comfy. It was $55 too. Okay, no plans for today, just reading. An active recall of this day, including all of my classes, 3 learning objectives, no Quizlet. Making a Quizlet is so much time consuming. Get out of the house because if you can see I'm so red because it's so hot outside. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Hi, I only have a couple of minutes to recap of what happened to me the last 2 days because I have so much going on right now that I have an assessment due in a couple of hours, so I'm gonna be quickly chatting with you and moving on. So yesterday we had our introduction to PracticeX where we learned how to edit treatment note and also comment, how to pick the procedure we're going to be using, and PracticeX is a program designated for designed for dental hygienists to keep up with medical history and dental history and the schedule. It's like a Dentrix. So we had that introduction. It was not bad. I think I understood everything I had to, but there's so much more to learn. Today was definitely the hardest day, probably. Oh, also I was picked as an academic representative, which I'm very happy about because I can integrate both the social aspect of this role and academic aspect. So in the clinic today, we had our tour. First of all, how to use a Nutrivac, how wrap up cassettes, which I very liked. But the most stressful part was setting up our operatory chair and station, because apparently there was a video that I did not see on the toggle session where they explained how to do that. So I was so lost. I opened the document which they posted with step by step, but it was incredibly confusing because steps were repeating over and over and it just didn't make sense. Yeah, I watched this video, definitely easier than I thought it was. So tomorrow I'm gonna be a PA, which means I have to set up a whole dental clinic, so I have to come 30 minutes earlier. So we come 30 minutes earlier if we want to set up our chair, and at 9 o'clock everybody starts. But if you're a PA, you're coming even 30 minutes before everyone else coming, which is like an hour before. You understand what I mean? My brain is melting right now. So after today's clinical session, we have to write a clinical reflection, if I'm not wrong, 500 words, which we have to write every time after clinic, which we have 3 days a week, which is crazy. We do get graded on these things, so that's what I'm about to do, and thank you so much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi everybody again. These last couple of days I was so tired, so I decided to film one video for Thursday and Friday because today is Saturday and I finally found time to record. And to be honest with you, I did not imagine editing videos and recording them to be so hard and time consuming. I almost nailed my opening of the operatory. Closing is definitely easier than opening, but it took me less than 30 minutes, which is pretty good. Last time I did not have a clue what I'm doing. And when, as I said, I had my PE duties, I completed them before setting up my operatory. So it wasn't as stressful as I thought. We just filled water bottles, checked if there's enough tissues, gloves, and that's basically it. I guess for PA duties, it's always different depending on how much help they need. Then we were working on our ergonomics and perio probing, which was really hard to adjust to because I'm perfectly fine with doing everything separately, like holding the instrument properly, doing not wrist breaking but pivoting on the locomotoring finger. Like I'm doing everything correct, but when even the lingual signs I practice at home, it was fine. Like I don't feel pressured. But whenever someone else looking at me, or when I need to combine all of this at the same time, and I know that somebody is grading me, this is really stressful. Especially we have number of osces that we have to complete, or is it QAC? There is osce for anatomy class in 2 weeks actually, and for this clinical practice we have QAC, and if you don't pass QAC you cannot move to another step. And ours next step is to move from mannequins to classmates. Of course they want us to be professional and do it properly so we won't hurt anyone, right? I know the moment I'll go into doing it, my stress will disappear, but it's going to build up over these, I guess, 2 weeks, maybe more. And then we had our loupe representatives. We had horoscopic, Q-optics, and endel. And if you want to know my opinion, I don't have more. I have put it so hard because for Q-optics it's really expensive, and I'm not sure if I'm willing to pay that much money, especially for, I don't know how long this is gonna last for. And I was interested in the horoscopic ones because they look pretty, they are comfortable and pretty cheap. They're on the cheaper side. But I heard some feedback from our year 2s that they had issues with their loupes, and it's not only them. I contacted some dentists and dental hygienists, but I don't want to be biasing your opinion. You should do what you think is best and don't rely on my perspective heavily. So that being said, I'm probably going with endel because like the average pricing, and I really like the loupe, the lens, because I felt like other ones were a little bit blurry, even though like it fitted my eyes, like I could see everything well, but it was just blurry. And that's not because of the what is it called, magnification of depth of whatever it is. Like everything was fine when I looked at the teeth from the loupes, but just Intel had the best lens. For that I need to do an eye exam this week. We have our measuring on Monday, and that's when we're gonna order them. Signed for oroscopic and Dell, but I need to text oroscopic that I will be moving forward with another system. I don't know if I mentioned that for my clinical reflection I got proficient in every section, which is, okay, like everybody got, thankfully. I'm still waiting for my second clinical reflection. This weekend I need to work on my précis about mandibular lateral incisors from incisal site, facial, mesial and distal, lingual, explain the root anatomy, and pulp. So there's a lot to work on, and there's also another assignment that I have to submit until Thursday, which is dental anomalies that we had to pick, and I picked tangents and incisors, and I have to explain how this will affect the job of dental hygienists. It was my second week of classes. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. If you don't like it, see you in the next video. Bye!